All right, let's talk about configuring SAP sales. It can seem incredibly complex, right? But what if we could make it simple? Today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take just one single sales order and peel back all the layers to see what really makes it tick. Let's get into it.
So here's our main character. This is just a basic sales document, the kind of thing you see every day. And we're going to take what I call an outside-in approach. We're starting with the finished product, this familiar screen, and we're going to work backwards. We're essentially going to reverse engineer this document to understand the deep-down configuration that makes it all possible.
Now, before we go any further, you've got to understand this. Every single sales document is built on these 3 levels. It's that simple. You've got the header up top, that's the general info for the whole order. Then you've got your items, the actual products. And attached to each item, you have schedule lines, which is all about logistics, when things are going to ship. Just remember those 3, header, item, schedule line. Everything we talk about today will control one of these 3 things.
And here's the game plan for how we'll do it. We've covered the anatomy. Next, we'll build the digital version of our company in SAP. Then we'll figure out who we're selling to. After that, we'll get into the 3 main control levers that make the transaction tick. We'll see how to connect all the steps in the process, and finally, how the system actually talks to the customer.
Oh, and a quick heads up on the interfaces. Day-to-day, you'll probably be in the modern Fiori Launchpad with all its nice apps. But for the kind of deep configuration we're talking about today, well, a lot of us still live in the classic SAP GUI. Don't worry, they both do the same thing, they just have a different look and feel. All right, section 1. First things first, right? Before you can sell a single thing, you need a company. You need a digital skeleton for your business. So the big question is, how do we actually build that architectural blueprint inside SAP? We do it with these. These are the organizational building blocks. But let's focus on the big 3 here, because they answer the most important questions. The sales organization answers who is selling. The distribution channel answers how are they selling. Is it wholesale, retail, online? And the division answers what are they selling. Is it electronics or, say, spare parts? Who, how, and what. And when you combine those 3, the who, the how, and the what, you get this, the sales area. And this is probably the single most important concept in your company's structure. It's this unique combination that defines a specific market you sell to. Every transaction, every customer gets assigned to a sales area. It's absolutely fundamental. Okay, so that's the business structure. Now let's connect it to the real world. That's where the plant comes in. A plant is a physical place, a factory, a distribution center, a warehouse. But here's the magic link. Every plant has to be assigned to one single company code. And that creates this unbreakable bond between your logistics, your physical inventory, and your company's financials. So, we've built our company in the system. Awesome. What's the next logical step in our journey? Well, we need someone to sell to. Who are our customers?
Now this is where it gets really interesting. See, in SAP, a customer isn't just one thing. Every single sales order must have these 4 partner functions. You've got the sold-to party who places the order, the shipped-to party who receives the goods, the payer who pays the bill, and the billed-to party who gets the invoice. And the cool part? These can be 4 completely separate companies, each with their own address and data.
And to really get this, you have to understand the business partner concept in S4HANA. Think of a business partner as a central Rolodex entry for everyone you deal with: vendors, contacts, and customers. A customer is simply a business partner that's been assigned the customer role. It's a brilliant way to avoid creating duplicate data and gives you one single source of truth for every relationship.
Okay, we have our company, we have our customers. Now for the fun part. How do we make sure the system behaves exactly the way we want when an order is placed? This is where consultants use what I like to call the 3 control levers to fine-tune every single transaction.
And here they are. And look how perfectly this maps back to the anatomy we talked about at the beginning. The sales document type controls the header, the item category controls the item line, and the schedule line category controls, you guessed it, the schedule line. It's a beautiful, logical system. Let's break them down.
First up is the sales document type. This is the big boss. It controls the entire document from the top down. It determines what kind of transaction this even is. Is it a quotation, a standard order, a return? It also controls the document number, default dates, and even whether basic things like pricing are switched on or off. Now we drill down a level to the item category. This little setting determines the behavior of each individual line on the order. Look at the examples here. A standard item gets priced and billed. But a free of charge item? Nope, no price, no invoice. Or maybe you just want to add some instructions. That's a text item. The item category is what tells the system what to do with that line.
And our third lever, the scheduled line category, is all about logistics. This is where the sales order starts talking to the warehouse and the supply chain. It answers all the critical questions. Do we actually create a delivery for this? Do we check if we have it in stock? And maybe most importantly, does this sale create a requirement for our planning department to go out and make or buy more? This is the lever that makes things physically happen.
So we've got all these different documents, right? An inquiry, then a quote, then an order. But how does this system know they're all part of the same story? Well, the answer is an incredibly powerful feature called copy and control. Think of copy and control as the digital glue that holds your entire sales process together. It's a huge set of background rules that says, okay, when you create a sales order from a quotation, I want you to copy the customer data from the header, the materials from the items, but not the delivery date. It's like passing the digital DNA from one document to the next.
And this is what that copy and control creates. Whether you're looking at the modern process flow in Fiori or the old school document flow, you get this perfect auditable trail. You can see with one click the whole history from the very first inquiry to the order, the delivery, the invoice, and all the way to the final accounting posting.
But wait, how does the system know when a quotation is actually finished or used up? That's where this sneaky little setting called the completion rule comes in. It has a huge business impact. For an inquiry, maybe you set it so any reference closes it out. But for a binding quote, you'd set it so it only closes when the entire quantity has been ordered. This is what helps your sales team know which quotes are still open and need a follow-up call. Okay, we've made it to the last piece of the puzzle. We've built the transaction, it's linked together, but how do we automatically tell our customer about it? How do we get that order confirmation or invoice out the door? That is handled by the S4HANA output control engine. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a super smart mail sorter. The system looks at the sales order and says, okay, who's the customer? What country are they in? What kind of document is this? Then it checks those facts against a decision table. If it finds a matching rule, bam, it automatically triggers the right output. Maybe it's a printed form, maybe it's an email with a PDF, maybe it's a direct EDI message to their system. So let's just quickly recap the incredible structure we just built. We started with the enterprise structure, that's our company's digital blueprint. Then we defined our business partners to know who we're dealing with. We used the three powerful levers, document type, item category, and schedule line category, to control exactly how the process works. We used copy and control to glue it all together, and finally output control to talk to the world.
You know, we started this whole journey with just a simple sales order, and we worked our way all the way down to the core configuration that makes it possible. We saw how nothing happens by accident. It's all driven by these deliberate choices, these building blocks. So I guess the only question left is, now that you know what the building blocks are, what kind of process would you